That's literally how it sounds in the box. So sometimes I hit up my mate Diesel for a little bit of help when it comes to just how to pull sounds that I'm imagining in my head. And he's lent me this bass, and as he gave it to me, he said, now this is a really special bass. And I'm like, don't tell me that. Like, I don't want to know that. And he's like, no. It's just cost a lot of money. Okay, still not helping. But anyway, it's a old 60s Hofner. And my God, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not a thief, but, you know, this may turn me to a life of crime. So what I like about this bass is it just, I don't know how to describe it, just sits in the mix perfectly. It's just got this nice pokey mid going on, but then it's still got a lot of sub. Yeah, normally I have to do a lot of work to make my basses sit in the mix properly, but this just sat in there perfectly, so. So the role of the acoustic in this song is percussive. It kind of replaces the hi-hat because there's no hi-hat. I'm just like heavy on the kick and the snare, and yeah, it gives it this nice little lift from the first chorus, and I wanted it to be real strummy, so I chose my mid-70s Country Western, which I bought on my honeymoon in Hawaii, which didn't go down too well for a while. I was like, hun, I've got to buy another guitar. So I generally do all my guitar overdubs in the studio using a software plugin, and it's mainly because I don't want to be in two mindsets of like pulling a sound as an engineer and then thinking of the performance at the same time. So I just dial up a sound in Pro Tools that's good enough for me to have a vibe, and once I've got the takes, then I reamp. This is the reamping box that I use, which kind of gets it to line level, and I run that out to the amps over here. So right now we're going into this old 60s Princeton. And I actually got this when I made the last album that I did when I was signed to Michael Jackson's label. The producer gave this to me as a gift, and this was one of the main amps that I used. That album was actually never released. And the mics that I'm choosing at the moment, this is a 421 and this is a 414. I feel like this kind of opens the sound up a little bit more. One approach, there's many approaches to miking techniques, is that the 421 is aimed at where the cone joins the middle thing in the middle, whatever the fuck that's called. And then this is pretty much right in the center, the 414. But it's mind-blowing how much of a difference mic placement makes. Like when I was recording my old band, Nat Cole and the Kings, up at the Grove, the studio's up there, the engineer Josh Telford, I was sitting in the studio and we were trying to pull the sound, and at the time I was using a Gibson SG plugged into a plexi, and it just wasn't right. It just sounded really boxy, and then he'd go in, he'd move the microphone by like a millimeter, and it sounded like somebody had plugged it in a completely different preamp until boom, it was just like click of a finger, that's the sound. So it really matters. Mic placement really matters. Another reason why I don't want to mix performance with engineering. So that's literally how it sounds in the box. But if we run it out to an amp, so that's pretty clean, so I need that to drive harder.